Hi guys. Welcome back to my channel, Reddit Raisins. Before we start with today's video, please leave a like and subscribe with the bell notification turned on. Let's continue with the video. Introverts, how did you meet your girlfriend? She came over to me in a coffee shop while she was on vacation in my country to ask how to tip. We had a 2-hour conversation and then an amazing 5-hour lunch 2 days later. She complained about her hostel and I offered her my spare bedroom. She accepted. Nothing happened, although it seems crystal clear in retrospect that we were falling for each other. Duh. I didn't want to be douchey and make her feel uncomfortable under my roof, so putting the moves on her was not something I seriously considered. 2 nights later, I had to be gone for most of the night on a work assignment, and I asked if she would please watch and walk my dog in my absence. I came home at 5 AM and was greeted by my suddenly very soft, very fluffy dog. She had somehow understood, "Will you please watch my dog?" and apparently didn't find that a strange request at all. The next evening, after we'd been talking over a bottle of wine for hours, it seemed she'd had enough of my apparent indecisiveness, took the wine glass out of my hand, put it down, and leaned in for a kiss. That was 26 years ago. We've been married 23 years. Edit. Thanks so much for the gold, kind stranger. On the Greyhound. During my time in the army I was stationed at Fort Eustis, Virginia. On my way home, Denver, Colorado, at the time, for Christmas I saw her sitting across from and slightly behind me. Honestly, I didn't pay much attention to her at first, but my buddy, seated next to her, did. After getting shot down repeatedly for a day and a half, he finally got off the bus. Shortly thereafter she came over and sat next to me, and we started talking. After that we got split up, put on different buses, and I kicked myself for not getting her number. Then, when the bus stopped in St. Louis, there she was standing right there in the entrance, almost like she was waiting for me. If my bus had arrived 15 minutes later I'd have never seen her again. Then I found out the bus to Denver was delayed due to snow and wasn't going anywhere for at least 2 days. She hurried over to the ticket counter and had my ticket changed to Des Moines, Iowa, where she was going, so I wouldn't be trapped in St. Louis for 2 days. We spent the next 4 days getting to know each other, then I continued home. We had a long distance relationship for about 6 months, until I came home permanently, by which time she had moved to Denver and rented an apartment. We got married 3 years later and have been together 10 years total. This is how I got my first boyfriend. He misunderstood something I said and thought I was asking him out. He said yes, and he was super excited about it, and I didn't have the heart to say no after that. Nice guy but very overweight with some pretty shocking self-esteem issues. We lasted 8 months. Edit. Wow. This got a lot of attention. My inbox is flooded with questions and comments, and some of them occur more than once, so I'll address them here. First off, I did this when I was 15. Almost a decade ago. I was naive and a real rookie in the dating world. I didn't really know this was a horrible thing to do at the time. I thought I was doing something kind. I wasn't. I was being arrogant and naive. I'm now an adult and understand how cruel I was really being. How did I accidentally ask someone out? Here's what happened. We were already mates, and we hung out a bit. I mistakenly asked him out when we were gaming together, and I was quoting a friend who had recently got into a relationship. I can't remember my exact words, but they went a bit like, and she was like, "Do you want to go out with me?" And he paused the game, turned to me, and said yes. Oh my god, yes. I've been into you for ages, and oh my god, I didn't think you liked me back. And wow, I can't believe I have a girlfriend. Or something to that extent. He went on like that for a good 10 minutes. Yeah, you get the idea. Gosh, he was so excited and so happy. I was too weak to dash his hopes on the spot like that. No, we didn't have sex. Like I said, I was only 15. Unfortunately no chemistry ever arose that wasn't completely one-sided. He was into me, but I wasn't into him at all. I tried to convince myself I liked him, but honestly we just didn't have that much in common outside of similar music and video game tastes. We made good friends, but as a couple we were just so bland. After the first date all he ever wanted to do was eat and play video games. It was boring. Since I was his first girlfriend he also seemed to want a proper girlfriend experience. He insisted on paying for dates when I insisted that he didn't. He would say things like I'm the man, I'm meant to pay, I had an after school job, I was happy to pay for my own meals and movie tickets, I wanted to show off my independence. He seemed to take that as some kind of personal insult. He also kept trying to buy me flowers and jewelry, even though I had specifically told him I was allergic to most flowers and I hated jewelry. I think he wanted me to be something I'm just not. A lot of people think I might be someone they dated once. I'm confident I'm not. But if you are worried, this happened in New Zealand and the guy in question is currently married. A few people think I'm Satan. There is no pretending my actions were remotely acceptable. I have no real justification for doing this to someone. No guy deserves this. But, at the time I actually convinced myself there was nothing wrong with being with someone out of pity instead of attraction. If you're worried about being in this situation with someone, they probably felt the same way I did. They probably don't think this is really that bad. They may even think chemistry will come later. So if you choose to talk to your so, bear those things in mind. It took a sudden bluff self-awareness for me to shock myself into realizing that what I was doing wasn't okay. Why did I wait 8 months? It took 8 months for me to have my epiphany and realize I was doing something wrong to both of us, but especially him. Before that, I kept trying to convince myself that I'd fall for him eventually and that in the meantime I was doing him a kindness, because at least he had a girlfriend thanks to me. And being fat with poor self-esteem, zits, glasses and a neck, but he probably would never get a girlfriend if it wasn't for me. Yeah, I know I'm the worst. His self-esteem issues were shocking, because even for an obese person, and obese people typically don't have the best self-esteem anyway, his self-esteem was through the floor. He talked about his flaws all the time, and it made it harder to overlook them. I'm so ugly, I weigh more than my dad did before his surgery. I'm so worthless and I'll never do better because I'm lazy. I hate my face. I'm a bad kisser, aren't I? Just say it. It's really hard to want to snuggle and hold someone when they won't shut up about how fat and ugly and worthless they are. And the truth is, he wasn't that bad looking. With a bit of weight loss and a decent haircut and shave he would have been quite handsome. He looked quite sharp in a dinner jacket. His self-esteem wasn't nearly as low as it should have been. Put yourself around extroverts, one of them will adopt you sooner or later. Had an ex adopt me. I think she was a serial adopter, though. Would contact and adopt pretty much every shy/introverted guy she came into contact with, including me. She was incredibly sweet and seemed to really care at first, and I think she genuinely had good intentions, but she was naive and dealing with guys with little or no experience with women. Every single one of them fell in love with her. All this while I was supposedly with her whilst also simultaneously not being with her. I could never keep up. She could never deal with the consequences of her actions and wound up lying constantly or just outright ghosting people she didn't have the energy to deal with. I think the worst part of the entire experience was watching someone's level of interest and respect for you slowly decline into nothing over an agonizingly long period of time. At the start she made me feel like a fucking superstar. By the end I was a doormat and felt like human garbage. So yeah, I'm wary of the whole adopted thing. I don't think I could ever really feel secure with someone who was really personable/liked meeting new people. I'd rather be with someone boring, like me, but not me. That would be weird. After 4 years of no dating following a crushing breakup, a mutual friend called to my attention she was into me. I was oblivious. I didn't know her very well, but I was ready to try again. I wasn't even sure I was very attracted to her, but I figured it couldn't hurt to go out on a date with a nice girl. We hit it off. She's pretty shy, which is why she said she never had the courage to try to talk to me. In the course of the first date I'm slowly realizing she's amazing. Many years later, now we have 2 kids, and there's just a lot of love in our lives equals DAWW. My first girlfriend happened this way. She out of the blue pursued me because I must have made a good impression the first time we hung out with a mutual friend. Didn't find her attractive tbh, and was really hesitant about reciprocating because, you know, didn't want to hurt her if I changed my mind, and also first girlfriend, so I was pretty clueless. Fast forward a year or so, we are madly in love, and I realize she's one of the most physically beautiful people I've ever seen. It just took me a while to see it. I still think about her sometimes, but that's life. Everything would have been totally different had we stayed together, and while I do miss her, and the feeling of being completely comfortable and in love with someone, I wouldn't be the same person today, and I honestly wasn't emotionally mature enough to sustain that type of relationship and keep both of us happy. I really hope she's happy and hope I can find someone to make me feel like that again. I knew someone in high school, had a bit of a crush on her. Both of us too introverted to do anything about it. We didn't see each other for a few years after high school. I was with some friends from college when we recognized each other. After a few months of hanging out, we figured we should go out as we intended in high school. That was 4 years ago. We got married last October and adopted a lizard together. Adopted a lizard together. Is that what the kids are calling it these days? I've known this girl for a decade now, which I have had a crush on for the longest time. Just recently, in a drunken state, she confessed she's been in love with me for years, and yet every time the topic has come up about relationships I've matrix dodged my way out. But not anymore. As of tomorrow I'm going to try and ask her out. I've never been so scared in all my life. Pray for me. Update 1. I decided to send her a link to the thread for a topic starter then, like an awkward cliche, continued to ask her out over Messenger. Her reply was for me to wait until she has properly woken up and had cuddles her cat. Now we play the try not to have a panic attack while waiting game. Update you guys again in a few hours. Update 2. It's a complete role reversal. She's now worried about what if it doesn't work out. She wants to talk in person now. Hopefully we can hash it out today. Final update. We are all going to be left in suspense. Due to shitty luck our talk won't be happening until the weekend. I might make a post about this on Reddit somewhere after it's ended with the final verdict. But until then, we wait. Limbo. We finally managed to get a day off work and meet up. The talk mostly consisted of us going round in circles, so to cut a long story short, she didn't want to say yes because of the fact that ultimately nothing will change between us. She's scared that if the relationship doesn't work out it will end up ruining our friendship and I'll just be like another one of her exes. However, she didn't want to say no either, so I still might have a chance. Sorry for the long wait you guys, but I really didn't wanna post something as blueballing as this. If something ever does happen I'll make a post on r/introvert and link back to this thread. Thank you for all the epic amounts of support and the gold too. I've never felt so determined because of you guys. The thing with introverts is, it's difficult to keep a conversation going until, that is, you find this one subject they are most passionate about. It's not long ago I shared how I met my husband. He's the introvert. He kept coming into the bar I worked, and I kept asking him questions trying to get a conversation going. But L kept hitting a wall. It didn't stop me from trying though. It confuses me to think back on, because I was also very annoyed with him. But anyway, after asking about so many things, I finally on day 4, asked him about books, and the boy never shut his mouth thereafter. So to all introverts out there, asking questions is difficult, but you're all passionate about something, whatever it is. Lead the conversation towards that one subject that you feel confident talking about. Then all the rest will come more easily. I can't believe my husband didn't ask, so do you read any books? Who's your favorite author, when he's so passionate about them? For 4 days all we did was me, question, him, answer, me, question. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe with the notifications turned on. As always, stay safe and see you tomorrow for my next videos.